Lincoln in Beardstown. Although Lincoln was a strong supporter of water transportation, most of his travels to Beardstown and elsewhere in the 8th Judicial District in Central Illinois were by horse or buggy. If town streets were unpaved, county roads were even more rugged, mere tracks across the prairie with very few dwellings in between. Winter journeys were especially difficult. The drawing by Beardstown artist William Barnhart shows Lincoln mounted. Because of his height, he was an awkward figure in the saddle. If the horse was not tall, Lincoln's feet nearly dragged the ground. Abraham Lincoln first saw Beardstown in the spring of 1831 as he, two friends, and Denton Offutt steered Offutt's flatboat laden with merchandise on their way to New Orleans. He returned in 1832, first in March, to help get the steamer Talisman up and back down the Sangamon River. In April, Lincoln returned as the captain of a volunteer company in the Black Hawk War. As a surveyor candidate, state legislature, congressman, and lawyer, Lincoln often visited Beardstown and the surrounding region. He proved to be a good friend of the area. As a state legislator, he supported the creation of Cass County. He also wrote the bill that led to the construction of the state road from Beardstown to Petersburg and was unswerving in his efforts to win state financial support for Beardstown and Sangamon Canal venture. Lincoln was in Beardstown on November 13, 1837 for a historic event. Now a young lawyer, Lincoln traveled to Beardstown, most likely on horseback, for the first session of the Cass County Circuit Court. Judge Jesse B. Thomas Jr. presided over the one-day session. It is unknown whether Lincoln made an appearance before the court. During his visits to Beardstown and Cass County, Abraham Lincoln most likely became acquainted with Beardstown founder Thomas Beard. According to tradition, Lincoln stayed at the inn Beard erected on the northeast corner of State and Main Streets, the site of the present U.S. Post Office. When he crossed the Illinois River, Lincoln would have used Beard's Ferry. The Illinois Lincoln traveled in the 1830s and 1840s and was still a rugged frontier state, and Beardstown had the look of a rough frontier town. Most buildings were of wooden frame and often flimsy construction. Where existent, sidewalks were made of wood and subject to rapid deterioration. Any good rain would turn the dusty streets into nearly impassable quagmires. Horse excrement and urine made crossing the street a challenge and gave the downtown a distinctive aroma, especially during the warm weather. Lincoln and his fellow Illinoisans had to be tough.